Interesting that we're going to start with this game right now because I got to be honest with you. I just saw the last team move that maybe you heard in the background is on this game, the first game of the card on, and now I'm happy or I'm excited. Let's do it right now. Let me give you the play first. It's under. If you want to tail Ramon, who is doing all his good work in totals, let me see what it is right now. The Steam just came in, so they steamed it at 48. I was all ready to come in here, give you my free play winner in Penn State and Ohio State, the big game. The big game, both teams are undefeated, the big noon kickoff, both teams 6-0, all the excitement. And of course, Penn State, we talked about Penn State already. They've covered they've covered, I don't know, how many is it now? 10, 11, 12? How many games in a row have they won and covered? They're just a covering machine. And we joked about it, but oh man, woo! What do we? But we talked about it, right? That Franklin said, "Hey, let's bet on our team." He didn't say it, but I mean, what it feels like is, "Hey, let's bet on our team and let's pump up our own our NILs and let's all do this together." And Penn State's on a roll right now, where they're winning and covering every single game, no matter who the opponent. And now they got to come in here and take on Ohio State. This game just got hit to the under, you guys, just moments ago, and now it's down to 47. So if you wanted to tail me, now would be the time on this game anyway. I don't think Ohio State already is 1-5 to the under. The last 3 seasons, this game has gone over. And hey, look, both teams are 6-0. Maybe they could. Maybe it will be a spectacular game. Maybe it will be. Last year was 44-31. So I can't really sell you on like, hey, this is going to be like last year. Last year was a wild scoring game. Ohio State has won 5 straight in this series. But just interesting because this is my play, you guys, is on the under, and it did just get steamed to 47. Let me update it on the screen. When we were on the Circa show, and I don't know, I'm kind of getting a little bit of feel for what's going on now. I mean, it's something I always did. The show that I do on Sundays here on the Tony's Picks channel, just half an hour. I read the lines, I read the line move. It just takes me back to how I started in capping a little bit, and listening to a show out of Las Vegas down in San Diego where they'd go over all the lines, and it was like before the internet even, you'd write down all the lines before the internet. Imagine. So, all right, Penn State here against Ohio State. Like I said, this is the big one. This is one of the games of the year, no doubt about it. Right now, given what's going on, both teams come in with the 6-0 record, and we're on the big noon kickoff and all that. And it's definitely been kind of a higher scoring series of late. But so let me continue what I was saying about the series here. I hope I'm not making that noise. Sorry, you guys. That's why I'm reaching over for my notes. I can't keep them under my computer. That was making that noise. Okay, Penn State and Ohio State. The look ahead was Ohio State 6.5. Obviously, Penn State's made some big time inroads right now. Woody Tamora, it's so nice to see you here today. Nice to have you and nice to meet you. But so for me, that's indicates, I think, more what is going to be the type of game we're going to get between these two teams. The fact that the total here, it opened on that Circa show 44.5 and was bet up to 48.5. Now, interestingly, this was one of the games of the year that got released like in the summer. The total on that game of the year release was 56.5 is what they were expecting in this game in the summer, or at least a couple of 7 or 8 weeks before the season, whenever those maybe some of those games of the year lines were kind of coming out a little bit. But Penn State just on a roll. They crushed UMass last week, 63-0. It's not about that. It's just about the fact that they wanted to cover another spread for James Franklin. They rolled Northwestern, covered the number, shut out Iowa, got the money against Illinois, laying 14. They won by 17, and beat West Virginia by 23. They were favored by 21. So James Franklin, you can't dial it up, especially here. You're an underdog now, and this doesn't happen. This is not happening as frequently. In this streak, I don't think they've been underdogs at all, and it's going to be tough enough for Penn State. I mean, could the streak end here? Absolutely. But I don't know. I'll be interested to see how the betting goes actually with the public and the sharps. Thomas Lewis says this will be a thriller. He's got to go into overtime. Well, that might be bad news for me, right? If I'm giving out the over, if it goes to overtime, because you're definitely going to get a few extra points. So I'll just hope not, Thomas, because I've got the under in this one, and I like this. I like this one a lot. I like this. I like this game. I like this total, and that's where I'm going with it. Is on this under. Boston College and Georgia Tech. College football action for Saturday. Boston College, they've gone over in all 6 games so far this season. Georgia Tech's gone over in 4 of their last 6 games. Now, they did not play last year, but the 2 meetings before that between these 2 teams were 71 points, 75 points. So this has been a high scoring series between these 2 games. The total currently sitting at, it's already up to 58. Did this one get steamed too? What's going on? I'm trying to get to market here with you guys and show you how we're going to do some of these games. And, I might cost myself not putting games in the system early, but that's not what the guys necessarily. Yeah, we want to give you the best price, but we also don't want to give you stale lines come Saturday, right? Because we know a lot of people that aren't necessarily betting them, and there's plenty of games to choose from. But I got to update this right now because this one's looks like it's already gone up to me. Let me hit the Steam button over here and see if it got steamed to the over. If you know where I'm going over in this game. No, I don't think it's got necessarily too much widely reported steam anyway. Now, this one also had a look-ahead line last week that was much lower, and everyone's onto this situation a little bit with these 2 teams. I'm not earth-shattering handicapper here telling you that this is going to be a high-scoring game. But I think some of the clues there might be a little bit obvious, and maybe that's why sharps, early bettors, whoever they are, right? Joe, the guys who care are betting early for the most part. I don't know, maybe somebody's rolling into work and just clicking buttons on their computer, make sure they think they're getting the best lines. But usually people betting this early, feeling like they want to get out to an edge here. Like I said, and not to BC being 6-0 to the over thus far obviously helps. I mean, they went over against Army last week. They're coming off a bye, but they went over against Army 27-24. They went over against UVA 27-24. Both those were wins, although they didn't cover against the Cavs. But the Louisville game, they got blown out. 84 points in that one, 60 points in the FSU game. Remember, they lost that one by just a couple of points, did Boston College, against FSU, who, you know, right now they're in the playoff, right? Uh, just squeaked by Holy Cross, 31-28, but it went over 52 and a half. And anyway, it's a long streak. It goes back even further, I think, right now for Boston College, even dating back to last year. They're on a massive over streak currently. Dating back to last season. Georgia Tech's gone over, like I said, just half. They're just 3-3 to the over, but they did go coming off the upset win, of course, against Miami. They're also coming in off of a bye, but they were the one. Remember, they took advantage of that crazy play against Miami. Want to say hello to T Money checking in. Nice to see you. He doesn't like the college card, and I'm like going crazy, thinking I love it. But spoiler alert, here's a total. I'm going over here, Boston College and Georgia Tech. I've already lost a point by sitting here. Well, I entered, to be fair, I did type in the lines on these college games last night as I was preparing the show, but I've lost a point somewhere in there overnight. It says 57 on my notes here, and now I'm at 58 and a half, 57 and a half, up to 58 and a half. And I'm going over in this one. I don't know what you might equate, the equal game to. I mean, so far you had Georgia Tech, the season opener against Louisville, 73 points. Game against South Carolina had 61 points. And game against Ole Miss had 71 points. Now, you notice those are all pretty decent teams here. And, well, I think, both teams here are at 500, and Boston College just 2-4 against the spread. But I've got to go over. This is series history going over. Ray's going on Georgia Tech. Thomas is backing up the truck here on Tech, it sounds like. And I'm still feeling out the side, I'd say, at this point. But over is my play in this one. I'm going to look at Baylor and Cincinnati. A couple of disappointments here for sure. At this point, we're hoping for more from these teams. Certainly, definitely a big disappointment here with both teams coming in with a 2-4 record thus far. Cincinnati 4-2 to the over thus far. They've lost 4 straight now, both straight up and against the spread. For Baylor, right now they are 2-4 straight up, as I said, but 1-4-1 against the spread thus far. Now this total currently sits at 52, and it's juiced up a little bit here to the over. But this one on the Circa show opened 45 and a half and was immediately bet up to 50 and a half. Now, I don't know if that was just another mispricing by these guys. They take such pride. Like that's why I do it on that show. Like these guys take pride. Oh, we take the biggest limits, and well, they got slammed on this one pretty good. And Look, I mean, I think it could go over. I think there's room to breathe in this total. Now, I don't know if it's going to go up any higher than this. Let me see. Let me just at least check what we've seen so far in the market move. I mean, that's what I had basing this on. In fact, I'm seeing two-way action. It would seem to me, looking at the percentages here, the betting splits, uh, I don't know if one side's any more sharp than the other. And quite frankly, maybe it's even a little bit too high here. I don't know if I could give out a premium necessarily, but I like the over in this game. I mean, I, I'm my numbers are right here in the mid 50s, so maybe it's not premium worthy. And I'm not saying that we missed any value on 45 and a half because that seems like an unrealistic number. And this is definitely the high number at this point, but it seems like it's only going up. Now, I don't know if it's going to go up a lot more, but we don't have any, head to head match, with this being um, a new conference matchup, we don't have any, series history to go off of here necessarily. But with Cincinnati at home, that's kind of, I think, what kind of has me steering in that direction a little bit towards the over. Uh, just that, you know, Baylor's had obviously some big time questions defensively to a certain extent this season compared to last year. I mean, just giving up the 39 points to Texas Tech this 2 weeks ago. They're in off a bye, but remember they lost that game 39-14, and they were in that wild one with UCF that had 71 points. Now they had trouble scoring against you know Texas, but who wouldn't? And against Utah, they didn't do very well either. But against Texas State, now Cincinnati's probably better than Texas State, but still kind of the game against Texas State, the season opener, had 73 points. So I'm gonna be on the over in this one. Cincinnati just played uh, BYU a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago now. That one had 62 points. So I'm gonna end up being on the over here with Baylor and Cincinnati. And Thomas says they didn't look good in that game. And yeah, no, they didn't. No, they did not. They scored just 10 points at home against Iowa State. So, but I'm taking the over here at 52. That's just the way it's going to be. They definitely got to turn it around a little bit though offensively. All right. Oh, Thomas here says he's on Baylor here. It looks like actually, and I'm not ready to commit just yet. Um, I like the total. And I would say that this is a borderline for me premium. Yeah, has it ended up going maybe a little bit too high here? Yeah, maybe just a little bit. Doesn't necessarily wouldn't be a premium necessarily by Saturday, but okay. But right now, I'll take the over. Air Force at Navy free college football selection. This one's for Saturday. And we have, well, what can you say? We got Service Academy matchup and the uh, try showdown for the Commanders trophy, Commander in Chief trophy with Air Force and Navy's matchup here. And hey, pretty easy, you guys. It says Air Force, it says Navy. We're going under. We're going under every time. We're never stopping taking under. And okay, is it square? I don't know. Is it square? The total here is 37 and a half, but I'm not saying that total hasn't been um, higher. It just seems to be going down. Now, when we were on the show, the look ahead line was 41.5. Uh, before the last week's games, and it opened 39.5 on the show that we were on just yesterday, not 21 hours ago, and it's all the way down here to 37.5. Service Academy games are just on a massive run of unders, no matter what. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. No matter how low they're putting these totals, they're just always going under when not only Air Force, not only Navy, but Army as well. Whenever the teams are meeting, it's a massive chance it goes under. It's all based on the type of play that we see from both teams. Thank you, Team Money. Thomas saying Air Force all day in this one. He likes Air Force laying this big number on the road. I love these matchups. I mean, I love Army Navy, don't get me wrong, but I like this one too. I like Service Academy games. And they get over in 2.5 hours. That's why we bet under. And I'm sure it'll be, kind of the same exact thing here. This one actually has gone under in 3 straight right now. And just 3 out of the last, under in 3 straight and 4 out of the last 6. Last season's game was 13-10. Navy got the money there. They were getting 14 on that day in Colorado Springs. And Air Force has won 3 straight in the series. But like I said, Navy got the money last season. And so the game last year, 23 points. The year before that, 26 points. And that's the way I'm going here as well. I'm going under 37.5. It's not just these two teams, like I said, but whenever the service academies are meeting, they've just done a massive run of unders. The clock continues to run, especially now, right? The clock continues to run, especially with these two teams. And it's not expected to be a close game. Although, I don't know. I think I kind of like Thomas's play right now. I just didn't want to. I probably should have tried a side here because I'm giving out a bunch of totals, but these are our best plays. We're trying to get ahead of these totals. I want to give you some good winning plays early in the week to get ahead of these. I'm telling you, I think the moves that I'm going to give you right now, this one notwithstanding, but it still could go down. It's only going down. Even if you don't like my play, you might have a 3-point middle by the time we get to the end of the week on my totals. So I'm giving out totals today here on the show, and hey, stack me up. Hi, Dre. Thank you. Nice to see you. I'm on the under. You can't talk me off of this one. A Service Academy under. And it'll be, I'm not the first guy. I'm not some, savant coming on here to tell you to take a Service Academy under. Oh, be some contrarian out there might tell you the same, tell you the opposite, but not for me. 24-10 says Thomas. Yeah, close for comfort, but hey, those are the ones we win. The 2 close for comfort games, those are the ones we win. Central Florida at Oklahoma, free college football pick for Saturday, October 21st. And this one, Oklahoma, 19-point favorite. Hello, OU. Total here is 63. First meeting between these two now with Central Florida here in the conference. Oklahoma, of course, coming in undefeated, not only straight up, but against the spread as well. Central Florida, a 3-3 record, but 2-4 against the spread. And I think it is interesting to note that these two teams, yeah, they are combined 9-3 to the over so far this season. Now, these two teams, new conference foes, if you will. Steam play. Let's see here, 389 and 390. So that certainly brings a little bit of interesting tidbit, just because UCF here now in this uh, conference, it hasn't been good so far. Looks like they bit off more than they can chew to a certain extent. I mean, you can't even get it covers against. Yeah, I mean, they're good teams, but they lost by 29 at Kansas, and that was near pick. They were favored in that game, right? They lost to Baylor at home as a favorite. They lost at Kansas State by 2 touchdowns as a 1 touchdown underdog. So it hasn't worked out really so far for Central Florida. Um, but you know what? This is what you wanted. This is what you asked for. And right now they're on what can you say? Just kind of a bad spread run. The only covers they have this year were home covers. Central Florida against Villanova uh, in an FCS matchup, and they covered against Kent. They beat up Kent, one of the worst teams in the country at the time. Maybe they've improved, but they beat Kent by 50 points as a 35.5 point favorite. And as for OU right now, I mean, what can you say? I mean, they're just on a big time roll. If there any teams being overlooked, right? Gamblers know, right? Gamblers know. And right now, I mean, it's all good on with Oklahoma getting these numbers. And I probably don't have a problem with it at this point. At minus 19, it opened 18 and a half, has gone as low as 17, but now we are at 19. I mean, that I don't know if I can, I'm not on the side yet at this point. I don't know if I can even stand much more pressure at this point to try to get on this Oklahoma side. Everyone's going to know they know already. You guys know probably, and I know, but obviously they've covered every game, so far uh, this season, as I said, and that's going to stand out in everybody's mind, I'm sure, by the time we get around rolling here. Verner says, just wait. Maybe Central Florida can get a field goal or something like that. Maybe Thomas says he's got the no diggity, no doubt on this one. But Oklahoma just a total moneymaker here. And look, I mean, I know I came on saying 9-3 to the over, but I just have big time concerns about Central Florida moving forward against these type of matchups right now in conference on the road against the elite teams of the conference. Like I said, we haven't even seen. We saw them against Kansas and Kansas State. Those games are tough enough, and they got walloped. So they did give up big points, and maybe they will here again. I'm going under. I'm going under in this game, under because 63. I think it's kind of baked into the cake here. Now, last game was the game at KU for Central Florida, and they're playing back-to-back road games. They did have a bye last week, but 73 points. They gave up 51. That's the most they've given up in quite a while. So they've got to clean that up. But when you're going into conference here, giving up massive points, you got to stop some. You got to stop some. It's hard. You're not going to stop Oklahoma right now for Central Florida the way things are going. I do think right now I would lean OU, but I don't think to me it's more like um, let's see if it's 19, right? So you're looking at 41-21 basically is the final score there if you look at it like that. And I'm not sure about Central Florida getting 3 touchdowns. Are you guys? Doesn't seem like it. So I mean, I might even be willing to give it to Oklahoma, 49-14. That's too high. Maybe that's too high. That'd be a premium on Oklahoma. But 41-21. How about 45-17? No, 41-17. 41-17. All right. Thomas says if you play it, you got to lay it. And you can do that right now. And I don't know if I can get a better price. If I'm going to lay it, I might want to do it now on the show here. But I'm taking under as my play. And I think that, let me see what the line movement. Did I recite the line movement here? Oh, it's only gone. It opened at 59.5 on the show we did yesterday, had moved all the way to 64.5 and has since been bet back down to 15 to 63. And I believe it may go lower than this, only, but I think it'll be sharps that do that. I don't know if the public's going to necessarily do it here. I like under in this game, Central Florida and OU. One more for me here, Memphis at UAB. Free college football selection. This one's for Saturday, October 21st. Well, I've, been taking a little bit of heat in the chat on talking about UAB a couple of times on the air this year. But look, like I said, I'm on UAB moving forward. I mean, I didn't come, I wasn't on here saying that I think UAB's bowl game bound, or I just was saying I think you're getting value with UAB. I think they're, a team and a program that's kind of being no, I don't even know if overlooked is the right word. Because they're not very good. They're 2-5 right now, but they're 2-5 straight up. They're 4-3 against the spread. That's what I'm talking. That's the type of bets I'm looking to make, on sometimes on teams. And you're going up against Memphis here. Memphis is having a pretty good season again. They're looking pretty good. They're 4-2. They're 4-1 against the spread. Memphis wins and doesn't cover. UAB doesn't win and they cover. These are kind of like the home dog situations that you kind of look for now. I'm not quite ready to go there just yet. I'm going to do 6 games and 6 totals here right now. I am, my lean is actually to Memphis because of my numbers. And my number is over this number. That's the problem I'm having because I am pro UAB, and the trending of this game says UAB. There will be some NBA doubles. Stay tuned. I've been taking my notes here. I'm seeing some of the totals. I want to talk about it so bad because I want to get on these moves before they go too far. So just stay tuned. And Ferner says leaning Memphis, but I don't know what that autocorrect there or something, but Thomas says he feels like it is a square move here, right? Yeah, maybe, no, definitely, right? Like I said, so Memphis 4-2 straight up, 4-1 against the spread, right? They're not covering anything. Alabama, Birmingham 2-5 straight up, 4-3 against the spread. They're totally overachieving. They're not totally, but I mean they're exceeding gamblers' expectations. Memphis is 4-2 to the over so far this season. They just let's see, they played Tulane, of course. and lost 31-21 as a 4-point dog. That game did go under. They played Boise. That one went over. They played at Missouri. That one went over. And they played Navy, and that one went for 52 points. Remember that one? So Memphis, scoring points, no doubt about it. The game against Tulane, that was their worst game, the 31-21 loss. But I like the over here. UAB has no conscience when it comes to chucking the football right now, and Memphis is putting up big points. So that's the way Trent Dilfer's running it. I know that offensive staff, they're all about, up tempo. They're doing what they can with the situation. So some of these covers for them, they beat USF. We had them. They lost to UTSA. Now we weren't on them there in that one. The Tulane game, Memphis covered on the road, getting 22.5 points. They lost by a 35-23 count. They played at Georgia, getting almost 40. They lost by 4 touchdowns. They covered that one. So it's a good situation for them. But I've got over here 63. Got to give it out as a free play because let me tell you, I mean, the total, the sharps or whoever, the early bettors, this has been a move to the over, no doubt about it. Let's see, here it is. They opened 59.5. When we were on the show, here it is. Okay, I'm sorry. The look ahead, there was a look ahead of 59.5. It opened 64.5 yesterday when we were on that show, went down here to 63. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong on this one as far as where the total might be headed. Maybe you can stick around here a little bit for this one, and maybe it's not a fast rising mover, but I'm giving it out now. I feel like it should be an over. UAB to me, they're not going to be able to, they're going to give it up. They might be able to get something done offensively here, even though Memphis has been pretty decent. And I would imagine UAB could probably stay within this. But I wish, why isn't it 7? And why isn't it a little bit higher? I was ready to take UAB here
final
plus a touchdown, and it came 5. So maybe those expert bettors are kind of feeling it the way I do. I want to find a way to get on UAB, but I just wanted to get at least off of a dead number of 5 here. I'm going to give the total over here as the play. Over 63, and we'll just revisit it later. I mean, I wouldn't think there'd be any reason to get, UAB public money. But again, this is not a, blockbuster tilt that's going to attract huge money that maybe, hey, any line can go up with just a few bombs here and there. Maybe I'll just have to wait it out. But we're giving out the show, giving out the over here on the show anyways. The winning team in this series just goes to show you. Now, last year, there was only 55 points. I say only. It went under. That's why. But Memphis won 46 to. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is a new conference game, right? Because of the. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a new conference game because of the switching a little bit. So, yeah, these teams haven't met in a long time, actually. Let me throw that out. Throw that right out the window. And just take the over here in this one. That's it for me. All right. Thanks, everybody.